So we're good then. Okay, perfect. Okay, could we stop Fortnite? I love you, but get the fuck off my screen, okay? Thank you.
One of the
All right.
world's most infamous polluted places, Chernobyl. The nuclear accident that happened here took place on April 26, 1986.
This is why you don't let Russians have a bunch of big shit, and shit like this happens, okay? So, let's send Russia back to the Stone Age, and then we're not gonna have Chernobyl. I know
The
it happened in
incident
Ukraine,
occurred
but
during a test at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant's number 4 nuclear reactor. After the test was delayed for 10 hours and the supervisor failed to follow protocol, the conditions became unstable. Since the reactor already contained design flaws, the combination of events resulted in a nuclear chain reaction that couldn't be controlled. An enormous amount of energy was released all at once, which vaporized the cooling water, causing a destructive explosion that ruptured the reactor core.
yeah, this was fucked, by the way. Still can't go to the city. Apparently, you can't go to the city without fucking hazmat suit on. Why are we doing this? Why are nuclear power just? Why are we doing
The
this shit?
open-air fire that followed caused a tremendous
That's,
amount
it
of
should have made a
airborne
superhero.
radioactive
Somebody should have came out of there
contamination.
being like fucking
The fallout
Superman.
lasted
But
for
it just-
9 days. About 39,000 square miles were contaminated.
Yeah, dude.
Although it's been decades since the event, Chernobyl is still one of the most
Yeah, people are growing
radioactive
extra
places
dicks and
in
shit.
the world. Plants and animals experience mutations, behavioral
Oh,
abnormalities, and stunted growth. Number
I
10,
was right.
Kabwe, Zambia. This is the Zambian Central Province's capital and has an estimated population of over 200,000 people.
Oh, that's light.
It was known as Broken Hill until 1966 by the Australian and European prospectors that founded it after zinc and lead deposits were discovered there in 1902. The term Kabwe means smelting or ore.
Okay.
The mine was the largest in the nation for years,
Okay,
producing
cool.
manganese, silver, titanium, cadmium, and other metals.
I mean, that's great. Other than like the fact that there definitely was, they were not paying anybody that worked in these mines. Cool.
Nowadays, the mine is closed even though metals are still taken from the area.
Okay.
It is one of the most polluted places on Earth because of the heavy metals that seep into the local water supply.
Where is it? We don't drink water in Zambia. Sorry, we don't.
A 2014 report suggested that the blood lead levels in children remain elevated even though mining has halted. Number 9, Kanpur, India.
No shit. Can we just do India as a whole? Well. Can we just do India as a whole? Let's just do India as a whole.
2018,
And add Bangladesh in there
Kanpur was
too.
recognized as the city with the worst air pollution on Earth by the World Health Organization. It has a
Yeah,
population
facts.
of over 2,700,000, and the number of people with respiratory illnesses has tripled since about 5 years ago, according to the head of the Ganesh Shankar Vidyarthi Memorial Medical College's Department of Medicine. Since the city's largest hospital is extremely overcrowded with patients who have respiratory issues, they often have to stay in the ophthalmology ward. Some of the diseases the citizens of Kanpur deal with are bronchial asthma, pneumonia, and chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, as well as lung cancer. The majority of the city's pollution is caused by soot and dust that gets worse during winter. Plus, biomass
How?
burning and vehicle emissions contribute. Kanpur's chief pollution officer stated that they plan to
So, there's a chief pollution off. You know what? I'm just gonna let this play out, and then
combat the
I'll
pollution
after
by
this one I'll
building
show
new
my
roads
my
and
thoughts.
a public transportation system, planting trees, and cleaning the contaminated Ganges River.
Good luck.
Unfortunately, there is no deadline in place because the
No
city
shit.
lacks the means to complete these tasks in a timely manner. Number 8.
So, if I was the chief executive officer, evacuate everybody, blow the city up, and start anew. Okay, let's do that because we're cooked, bro. The earth is cooked. We only got like 50 years before we're drowning in the smog at this point. Honestly, yeah. I mean, yeah, 100%. But like, I don't know. I'm cool where I'm at.
8. La Aurora.
But like, I don't get it. Like, if people are literally dying, then leave. Like, I know some people don't have the fucking means, but yeah, they'd just be shitting anywhere out there. That is true. But just leave. Like, everybody's got to leave.
Peru. This city in central Peru is
Or just make your cities bigger. Like, there's cities that are can hold 200,000 people that have 2 million people. Build your cities bigger. Like, I just don't get
in
it.
the Andean Mountains.
I don't get it.
Settlements here date back to 10,000 BCE, but the Spanish established a settlement in 1533 and began small mining operations for precious metals. Throughout the centuries, mining continued to develop, significantly expanding in 1893 when the railway from La Arroya to Lima was completed. This city is home to a copper smelter, lead smelter, and zinc refinery, which produce thousands of tons of these metals annually. Because of these plants, La Arroya is one of the world's most polluted places, especially since clean operations weren't the primary focus of the original owners.
Yeah, no
As a
shit.
result of decades of pollution...
Because in 1893, we thought that cutting ourselves, letting our blood drain out till we almost die, and then fucking cutting or sewing ourselves back up would cure us. We thought that that was a thing, so no shit. They weren't focused on safety.
The surrounding hills were stripped of greenery, the river became toxic, and people living there suffered. Residents often have dangerously high lead levels in their blood, and lead pollutes the drinking water as well. When the worldwide company Doe Run purchased the area, it estimated a cost of $107 million to take the required measures for environmental remediation. More recent estimates suggest more than $240 million. Number 7.
So, when there's a bunch of mines, there's a bunch of smog and a bunch of shit coming out, let's move the city away? I don't know. If you're gonna die, like, just...
7. Haina, Dominican Republic. Sometimes called the Dominican Chernobyl, this town was recognized as having the world's highest levels of lead contamination. All of Haina's residents had symptoms of lead poisoning.
What? Bloodletting was also used for a more pale complexion when white face makeup was big? What? So people would, like, let their blood out because obviously, like, being pale, like, that you're almost dead, so makes sense. That's fucked. That is fucked.
Poisoning. The pollution was believed to be the result of an old automobile recycling smelter, which has now been moved to a different place. Unfortunately, the remains of the site continued to contaminate the area for years. In the late 2000s, the United States-based environmental group called the Blacksmith Institute performed a cleanup, removing over 6,000 cubic meters of polluted soil, and the area was transformed.
Looking for nicotine pouches in Canada. More Canadians than ever are getting the pouches they want. From Rush Tins, we carry your
into a park. Since then, blood lead levels have substantially decreased.
Awesome.
Number 6.
So, I don't know, maybe this is... it seems like the only place in the entire world that white people did not ruin, like, Peru, white people ruined it, fucking, is India. That's the only place. But it seems like most of these places, white people have just actually ruined and just made people live there. Like, Peru, India, that's not our fault. Zambia is our fault. And Chernobyl is...
Linfen, China. This Chinese city makes the
We just
list
fuck
because
everything up,
hasty
bro.
industrialization in the 1990s caused the demand for energy to increase. Thus, the price of coal increased dramatically. Private mines that weren't strictly regulated expanded quickly to meet demands. The
India spawned with a debuff. It's crazy.
mining, smelting, cooking,
That's
and city
fucking
development caused severe pollution and environmental damage. Beginning in 2004, when Linfen was at its worst, there were only 15 days per year when the air pollution levels were acceptable. After reports of the city's pollution were published, efforts were made to clean it up. Some of the mines were shut down and coal trucks weren't allowed to enter the city, reducing the amount of coal dust. Plus, they switched their main power source from coal to gas.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but people are so fucking stupid. Like, if you see a bunch of coal coming up, you don't think that, like, I don't care how fucking old you are, if you're 1500s, you breathe something in and it makes your lungs feel like shit, you probably shouldn't breathe that in. I don't know.
And 85%
What do you think?
of the population was using natural gas to heat their homes in place of coal by 2007. The Ministry of Environmental Protection monitors the environmental conditions of Linfen as well, and it is now considered a model city of environmental protection.
So then why the fuck is it on this list?
5. Mailu, Kyrgyzstan.
Yeah, that's true.
This mining town is in southern Kyrgyzstan. It takes up about 46 square miles and around 23,000 people live there. Since the Soviet Union fell, the economy of Mylusu has suffered, and 23 unstable
Surprising.
uranium tailings pits were left behind by the USSR. They sit atop the hillside above the town, which is tectonically unstable. In 1958, 600,000 cubic meters of radioactive tailings were released into the Mylusu River following a dam breach. In addition to the breach, significant amounts of uranium were extracted from the mountains, and mining waste was stored throughout the town, making environmental issues even worse. A study done on the town's residents showed that 98% of the people living near the waste storage sites suffered from liver and thyroid diseases.
Jesus.
In some areas, the radionuclide levels in the river are 200 times as high as the recommended level.
Just drink Coke,
Mylusu
bro.
continues to
Just
endure
fucking drink Coke,
severe pollution today. Number 4. Sukinda, India.
Well, well, well.
Sukinda is a town in Odisha, India, which accounts for 98% of the nation's chromite reserves. 97% of those reserves
Just
are
alt
within the
F4.
Sukinda Valley. There are about 12 mines operating in Sukinda, and they aren't regulated for environmental damage. The pollution that is created by these mines is an extreme health hazard. 60% of Sukinda's drinking water is contaminated with hexavalent chromium, with levels over 2 times what's recommended by global standards. This heavy metal is used in producing stainless steel
we're
as
drinking
well
metal.
as in leather tanning.
Well, I'm not,
Some
but they are.
estimations suggest that over 84% of the fatalities in mining areas are caused by diseases related to chromite.
What? So it's not just a fucking mine collapsing, it's literally drinking water and killing you. That's
Unfortunately
fucking
for
crazy.
the people who live there and the environment, no real
sure some of
attempt
this
has
fucking
been
water
made
does taste
to
like
clean the
Coke.
place up. Number
Coca-
3,
Coca-Cola.
Samkayat, Azerbaijan.
Never heard of
Another
this country.
polluted place is Samkayat, located in
Tick damage
Azerbaijan
for real.
near
Tick
the
dude, they are
Caspian.
they are constantly in the storm. I don't know what they're using for bandages and medkits, but they're constantly just taking storm tick. They probably just have like 10,000 health or something.
Sea. The city became extremely polluted after industrialization. A thermal power station was built in the late 1930s and early
Pop and slurp
1940s
juices, yeah.
to provide power to
Which
the
is just beer.
petroleum industry. After 1944, chemical and metallurgical plants were constructed.
Who in the fuck and how in the fuck are they doing this? How are they doing that? Am I stupid or are they just like fucking like I'm sure there's a way to do it, but that seems way too sketchy.
And began operating. This created a new job market and
Yeah,
the
they for real need to unvault chug splashes in like these areas for real.
Samkayat population increased. In the 1950s, a synthetic rubber factory was built, and the city's aluminum and steel processing plants began operating. By 1960, construction of the petroleum chemical factory commenced, and other factories followed, including a brick-producing factory, a phosphor-producing plant, and an industrial complex for polymer construction
That
materials,
just sounds like shit.
among various others. This made Samkayat the center of the USSR's chemical industry by
Not to mention, like, the fucking animals are drinking this water and then they're eating the animals. Like, the animals are fucked up, then they're fucked up. Like, you could literally not drink the water, but eat the meat. It's like, it's worse than fucking Red 40.
the 1980s.
Oh,
But after
true. They
Azerbaijan
do.
gained
They
its
fucking do.
independence from the Soviet Union in 1991,
just dead set
Samkayat and
rotate.
other
That's
industrial areas began to decline. A former
That's
Soviet
fucking
base started
hilarious.
contaminating the area with heavy metals and chemicals. Samkayat became known for a cemetery containing the remains of numerous infants and children who were
What?
born with deformities and mental illnesses caused by the pollution. Luckily, a protection plan established in the
What?
mid-2000s has steadily decreased the contamination levels significantly.
Just a bunch
Number
of fucked
2,
up kids.
Taiwan, China. This is the capital of China's Shanxi province and is one of the nation's main manufacturing bases. Dating back to 497 BC, it is an ancient city with over 2,500
Wow.
years of history since its urbanization. Taiwan was the
And it
center
still
of
looks like-
industrial development for decades and was connected via railroads to the southwestern and northernmost
That's
parts
crazy.
of Shanxi. The Japanese military occupied Taiwan from 1945 until their surrender, exploiting the area's resources. But when they did surrender, about 15,000 troops decided to stay in China rather than return to their country and fight for Taiwan's ruler. The Japanese soldiers proved beneficial, and their technical knowledge helped with running the city's various industries.
So 15,000 soldiers. Soldiers. Not environmentalists, not scientists. Fucking help the city?
Ceylon has an abundance of natural resources, including iron,
What?
coal, silica, marble,
Still looks
phosphorus,
like it's in
copper,
fucking
gold, among
497 BC?
many
That's
others,
crazy.
which unfortunately resulted in severe air pollution, especially from the production of coal. The worst of the pollution occurred from the 1990s to around 2010. Nowadays, the government is focused
Dude,
on
that's
air
fucked.
quality, and they've been working hard to improve it. Although correcting the mistakes from decades upon decades of pollution isn't easy, they've made significant advancements by creating stricter emission standards, reducing energy consumption, and being much tougher on companies that produce
Yeah, but that's not
toxic
gonna do
and
anything.
hazardous materials.
Like you can
Number-
stop and it's like probably not gonna go away. Also, Bangladesh is not on here. This is crazy. Bangladesh has got to be on here. What the fuck?
1. Zherzhinsk, Russia. Located along the Oka River in Russia, this city is a significant center for chemical production and used to be the main site for chemical weapons production.
That'll
The
do it.
creation of these weapons began in 1941, with the focal point being lewisite, a compound containing arsenic trioxide, which has
Oh,
poisonous
arsenic.
effects. They also focused on producing mustard gas.
Yeah, it's
also
not
known
smog.
as
It's just
epirite.
literally fucking
In addition
fog.
to these two highly toxic chemicals, the factory in Zherzhinsk produced phosgene and prussic acid, another incredibly poisonous and flammable substance. These operations stopped in 1965, and the chemical waste containing large amounts of arsenic was buried in dumps. But the city still has several industrial enterprises that make around 1,000 different types of chemical products. In 2007,
bro.
the life expectancy in Zherzhinsk was 47 years for women and 42 for men.
What? Move away! Fucking move away! Fucking move away! Move away! That is taking 40 years off your life. Fucking move away. Walk if you have to.
Which was
Yeah,
attributed to high levels of
I'd be
persistent
having a
organic
midlife crisis right
pollutants,
now.
which are resistant to environmental deterioration. In addition to lewisite and mustard gas, the worst pollutants in
Mustard
Zherzhinsk are
gas?
sarin, hydrogen cyanide, lead, and phosgene. The sites that contribute to contamination include toxic waste burial grounds, the landfill, and the White Sea, which is made up of dumped chemical wastes.
Awesome. Awesome. That's just awesome.